You spent a fair bit of time in the White House.
Yes.
Is there ever a time where the president has legitimate privacy in there?
I think when they're in their residence.
Which is, I mean, is that just a bedroom or is it a wing?
The residence, when I say, is like where they live. They do try to give them a level of privacy. It's hard to like be like constantly surveilled. So they're in, but the White House is so secure so that within the residence, within there, those rooms that the security perimeter is designed so they can have a little bit of privacy within those rooms.
I gotcha.
Right? So that way they can try to be a family.
Yeah.
Especially for children when the children are young. And I know Mrs. Obama, that was one of her biggest concerns. She wanted the children to feel like children.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I can imagine that'd be tough. And again, I know it's a little questionable as to how much you can share detail-wise for security purposes, but in the residence, I mean, I'm assuming it's all protected, but it's at least like once you go in there, there's not like agents
zone
in there with you. Like,
I can't say where the agents are placed, but there are spaces where you can be by yourself with your family.
I gotcha. Is there ever an instance where the president in the middle of the night gets up and wants to go get a snack, or is it, hey, can you bring me something? Like, do they ever like in boxers and a T-shirt go walk somewhere else in the White House?
In the White House. So there's butlers in the White House, and they're the ones who bring, like they're servers, they're butlers, and they bring food to the president. There's chefs in there. They do everything for the president. So the president he'll just call the butlers. There's butlers in there. There was one guy, he was there from Johnson, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
These guys have been there. They know everything. That's who you need to interview.
Yeah,
that's who you need to interview. They had the best
Well, if you can
stories.
hook me up with that, I'd love to get a White House butler on.
They know everything. I mean, they would even tell me when I work midnight shift. You know, I remember once they're like, oh, yeah, there's ghosts down that way. And I'm like, wait, what? There's ghosts in the White House? And they would tell me the ghost stories, that there's actual ghosts in the White House. They're like, yeah, don't you hear the keys at night? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, that's the ghost stuff. And I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
So
do you buy into that?
I do.
Really?
I do. I think I've had enough experiences to understand that something exists.
Really?
I do. I think if you look at it this way, if you believe that there's a soul and there's a spirit, right? And when we leave the earth, like we don't disappear. Our spirit, our soul goes somewhere, does something. Where? We don't just vanish. So with that, I do feel that there's something. And I'll tell you this, if the White House butlers and there's some legitimately, smart people telling me, oh no, there's this stuff.
Yeah.
There's this stuff.
Yeah. So
I think they would tell me there was a woman, forgot who she was, and you would see her from one of the windows of the White House looking out. And I forgot who she was. Notice I chose to forget this stuff. Everything else I got a good memory. That's because my bullets go through ghosts.
Yeah.
Bullets can't stop ghosts.
You don't want to piss off or out the ghost.
No.
Is there you said you heard keys. Is there any other experience that you had in the White House that lended credibility to ghost-like activity?
No, just like you would hear like voices or stuff like that, or maybe like walking or stuff when there's nobody there.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, does that freak you out? Like, do you do anything about it? You go over the radio and be like, did you guys hear that?
No, because I wanted my job. They're going to come collect
like, you
me.
crazy fuck.
They're going to come collect me.
Yeah.
Poumpouras, what are you doing up there?
Yeah.
I mean, there were times too, like one of the floors that would go to the state floor at night when you would do your rotations. There was like a picture of Kennedy where he's looking down, and there was moments like you'd walk by, you get chills because the house is quiet. And it's a museum.
Yeah.
It's a museum, and it's huge. And there's moments where you would have those kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, but just powerful gravity moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
a little scary too sometimes where you just kind of, you just feel that.
Yeah. Can you say in that particular residence, as an agent, pretty much no matter where you're at, can you always see another agent, or is there not that many of them in there?
You can't, there's a lot of agents and a lot of uniform division officers, UD. And UD is the primary part of the U.S. Secret Service that does the protection. They're the physical security. So they're really the ones who, they protect the house, we protect the person.
I got you.
When POTUS isn't there, agents aren't there. UD is there.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have it locked down always. So they're everywhere. Now, your question of can I physically see someone? No, because it's an old house and it's got its corners and this and that. but we're on comms.
Yeah.
We're on encrypted comms all the time. Yeah. You're always hearing, talking. So it's less about seeing and more about, am I in comms?
Yeah. Is there a favorite part of the White House for you?
Okay, two. And it's going to be very not climactic. The flower shop in the White House.
I didn't even know they had one. I've never actually been in the White House, but I don't know if you can change that or not. But
I will do my best. There's a part of the White House where they have a flower shop. And I don't remember which president it was. One of the presidents, my history is bad now, this is terrible, but one of the presidents lost a son. And the first lady of that president fell into a massive depression. This is historically. And they couldn't get her out of her room, out of the residence. And so what the president did is he cut her some flowers and he put them by her bed. And when he did that, she got up out of bed, she got out of the residence. And they started putting more and more flowers. And that's how the idea of putting flowers out in the White House was born. And eventually, the White House has created its own flower shop. Yeah. So flowers come in from all over the world. And when I would have break or downtime, I would actually go sit in the flower shop and just sit there and listen to their stories, watch them make bouquets, look at the refrigerator with the flowers. I just liked the greenery and stuff. It was soothing. Yeah. I guess, you're in your vest and your gear, and every day you might get shot in the head. So I was like, I'm going to go sit in the flower shop.
Yeah, it's a nice reprieve from...
That was nice. And then where we would get our food, there was the Navy. The Navy would do our food. There was almost like this window you put an order in for food. And that was my favorite place to go. Best chicken tenders I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Food in the White House was amazing.
Yeah.
You paid for it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You guys don't get it for free?
Nope. And my food on Air Force One I paid for.
Really?
The first day on the president's detail, you hand over your credit card. You pay for everything.
Why?
The taxpayer is going to pay for my food.
I think they should.
Thank you.
I think
That's a nice thing to say. They don't. Yeah. I paid for all my food, all my drinks, everything you pay for.
Wow. That is a surprise. Anything you can share about Air Force One? I know most you can't, but...
It's not as cool as everybody thinks. It's a nice plane. It's clean, but the design is old. It definitely needs a re-up. Yeah. But it doesn't look... First class looks fancier on the jumbo jets here, Yeah. But it's nice.
Yeah.
It's fine. We would watch movies. The press is in the back where they hang out. It's designed to be its own White House, right? Its own secure site. But it's not that fancy. The plane obviously got massive capabilities, and it's cool to be in the plane. But it's like this baby blue from I think the 70s or something.
Yeah, it is kind of a hideous color.